What's up? Welcome back.
It's Peggy smacking her tongue to like.
It's a habit. It's a habit. I know some of my friends hate that shit. It's a habit. Welcome back, y'all. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Christmas.
Oh my god. It's not like the meme says. It's not Christmasing the way it's not feeling Christmassy.
No.
This year, and
I've seen a lot. There's different views. There's some that say, Christmas as how we viewed it as children. Our mindsets gotta change. We can't think of Christmas as when we were kids. We have to create that version for ourselves as adults, as opposed to how our parents created it for us. So for me personally, I like Christmas. I love the lights. I love when people decorate. I like seeing people opening their gifts with their children and stuff. For me, I still put up a Christmas tree, even though I'm not putting no damn gifts under it. But I like it.
A Christmas tree?
I have a small one in the basement. The basement's finished, and then there's a bigger one upstairs in the living room. So I did it like that, but I truly believe that when I do have children, the excitement will be more for me, because seeing them open up stuff.
You're gonna be like those mamas wearing her robe.
Like, I know I wasn't gonna get you anything, but let me see it. No, dimmer, I purchased it. So when I see those memes, that should be having me dying.
Because it really be like that.
I really see a lot of my people that I follow, they be like, let me see that. I'm like, you bought it. You already know what it is. But it's funny, like, that's what Black mothers do. That's what we do. Like, let me see that. Like, you bought it, mom. Like, but no, I feel like I'll be super more excited seeing my child, my future children, to be able to open up their gifts and be excited about it, especially if it's something that they mentioned that they wanted and they think they wasn't gonna get it and they end up getting it. I think that's so dope. But overall, I just pretty much relaxed for Christmas. And then my nephew had a little, like, small, very small family gathering. Amarion's out here acting up. That variant is acting up.
Just dancing.
Dancing. Did you see the meme? I know you're gonna crack up. There's a meme that said, with Amarion sending emails, so like, per my last variant. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, this is the Amarion variant sending emails per my last variant.
Oh my god, it's really that way though.
Literally.
And I think this variant has gotten people so scared. It's crazy because I get tested weekly, right, for COVID, just because I'm in the office and I'm, around family and around children, around my mom, around elderly. But this recent, when did I get this? I got tested on Wednesday morning, and I'm typically, there's never a line, so I'm walking, getting off the train, walking to the damn place, and I go turn the corner because it's like a quick turn, and then you see the door. But when I turned, I was like, hold up, why is somebody standing out line? And then I see outside, and then I see a line. It was at least 15 people in front of me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought it was gonna be a quick, because a lot of people are trying to like get tested before they leave. Go on vacation to see family. And I get it, like, some people, they literally did not see their family in over, like, physically hug them and touch them in over a year, because some people really like followed the protocols and stayed their ass home and probably just did FaceTime or some type of Zoom, family Zoom or whatever. And I get it, and shout out to those who are being cautious and like getting tested, even if you're not vaccinated. That's your thing. You vaccinated, not vaccinated, that's your thing, whatever you choose to do. But at least most of the people I've seen getting tested, I know my job the district gave the students at-home tests to take, like, for them to take it 24. That test is the worst thing. I personally think it's the worst thing. One, because people don't do it correctly, so then they're getting these false positives or false negatives. And then, like, it's just too much. I really think that shit was the dumbest shit people could have done.
I mean, I don't know. It depends.
Go get a PCR test. They don't. If you think about it, they don't even acknowledge rapid tests. Like, if you were to go to the airport and they're like, "Oh, I had a rapid test," they don't give a fuck. So just go get a PCR test. Yeah.
Well, this one, the one that the district's given, is the one they want the students to take. I think so. We're supposed to go back to work. My district goes back to work on the 4th. So I guess they want the students to take their test the 3rd.
Okay.
So they can get the results, and if it's positive, they stay there behind home in quarantine. But they have to let the school nurse know so that they can be excused and whatever other protocols.
I'm dying right now because there was a meme. There was a meme that was like somebody. It was like everybody. Are you coming over for Thanksgiving dinner? Me with the fake at home, like not fake, but the at home test, putting a line where it says positive, so I wouldn't have to go to.
Messed up.
Like, legitimately, like, yeah, no. I gotta find this so I can post it. But it was so funny.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing though. It's like, that's why I only watch the news once a week. Like, I literally go on, I watch it once a week, literally. And you know, when I watch it is when I actually go to my parents' house. Either on the Sunday, I have a schedule when I go see my parents. Sundays and Wednesdays I go see them, handle whatever they need me to help them with. And that's when I watch the news. I do not watch the news any other day. Most of my news, if anything, I get from social media to a limit, to an extent. But it's like, the thing is, if you can't think for yourself and limit it, the media will scare the fuck out of you, right? And I get it. They're supposed to keep us informed, and that's the job. But to an extent, it scares you because I'm like, we already knew there's going to be variants. That's what viruses do. They're going to do things to evolve, to survive. Just like us as humans, we have evolved over time to continuously survive, right? So that's what a virus will do. It tries to survive because it's like, I don't want to die. So it still has that same aspect, if you will. So it's going to create another variant. Now, here's my thing. Okay, Omarion is here. Then we're going to hear, another 6 months, if that. We're going to hear another variant.
It's
anyway.
Like Delta came and went.
Yeah, so it's like Delta 1 was at the height of the summer. You know what I mean? Now we're dealing with Omarion. Now what? Delta, Kappa, Omega, Psi. Like, come on. Like, there's all these different variants. They're doing the whole fraternity sorority line. Literally. God. So my thing is just honestly be cautious. Be smart about what you do. If you're sick, stay home. And the thing that pisses me off with COVID, we're in the flu and cold season. So a regular cold virus that you would get any other time, or the flu any other time, and yes, the flu can kill you, yes, but COVID gives you all the same symptoms as you would just like if you got food poisoning, because it says you can get diarrhea. Like, if I literally got food poisoning, I'm thinking now I got COVID when actually I got food poisoning because I'm throwing up and, you know, shit coming out on both ends. So but COVID literally has COVID has every daggone symptoms. You could actually be pregnant and you think you got COVID now. If you're someone who gets morning sickness, you don't feel well, you're thinking you have it, and that's the only thing I do not like. So it's like, if I honestly got sick, you know how they ask you before you enter the clinic, have you had any of these symptoms? But you actually did have them off the strength that you had a regular cold. They might think, oh no, you gotta go back now because you had COVID. Like, I didn't have COVID. Like, I tested it was negative. I didn't have COVID. But yeah, if you do feel sick, just stay home. Be smart about your surroundings. I personally don't tell people what to do. Just be smart on how you move. If you feel sick, stay your ass home. If you test positive, I think that's actually selfish for you to test positive and still be around people in conjoined spaces. Stay your ass home. I know it sucks, especially for people who are social butterflies and want to be around people. I get it, but sometimes I'd rather be safe than sorry. Stay your ass home. But other than that, Christmas was chill. My family's not big on Christmas like when I was growing, as opposed to when I was growing up. Our two main holidays is Thanksgiving and New Year's. We know that's Haitian Independence Day. We drink our soup joumou. That's what we have all day, and maybe for the next couple of days, that's our thing. But Christmas is not really like a big thing for me as of now. But I feel like in the next couple of years, my mind frame will change, and I'll probably start creating a tradition where, like, no guys, let's come here, let's do something with the kids and family or whatever. But as of now, like, no, I'm just chilling. How was yours?
It was good. We did. We stopped doing gifts for everyone in the family when the kids were like old enough to get a job. So we do either Secret Santa or Yankee Swap. It always interchanges. It's so worth it. It's like it alleviates all the stress of like getting everybody a gift.
Especially that one person trying to get everybody. It's a lot of money.
It's the worst. And then we actually just enjoy each other's space. Like, unfortunately, these kids can be fucking annoying, and they like. I don't know why kids are so antisocial now. Like, they're socializing.
It's that damn phone. It's the phone.
My sister will blame it on weed. So my nieces, they all smoke or whatever, and so my older sister didn't grow up in that like environment of like smoking is okay and it's acceptable. Like, smoking was like doing crack to her.
Yo, patience. Don't let them find out you're doing weed. Well, you smoke crack.
Exactly.
It's just weed.
Like, at this point, you should be on methadone mild. Like, that's how she perceives weed.
I swear all foreigners think weed is literally, you might as well just, you're on heroin, you're on crack, you're on the worst of the worst drugs.
You are a bum. But all my nieces smoke, cool, whatever. And when we were done eating dinner, my nieces wanted to go and smoke, right?
So they go
anyways, yeah, pretty much. And I was like, oh, where's the kids? Where's the kids? And my sister's like, it's that damn weed. And I'm just like, girl, she hates it like so much. It's that damn weed. I swear there's something in that weed. Yeah, relaxation. You should probably try it. But yeah, so we had dinner. We played games. There's like this really cool app called Kahoot, I think. It's like a trivia game, and it's so much fun.
Is that the one you put on your forehead?
No, that is like Heads Up or something. That's what it's called. Kahoots is like you put like it's an app you put on your phone, and then somebody is like the controller. Like so they do like they read off the question and you answer the question according to what's on your screen. Mm-hmm. We've done it several times and it's worked for us because we have very short attention spans. So that was fun, and then we exchanged gifts, and everybody was excited about their gift, which I was like, okay, maybe we should start doing Secret Santa and not Yankee Swap because everybody struggles with Yankee Swap because you have to find a unisex gift.
I think that would be nice as a family. You guys put all your names in a jar.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you don't do that no more. They have an app for that. It's called Draw Names.
Really?
So somebody.
I like the shaking up the head.
No, because it gets confusing because everyone be like, oh, I can't read this handwriting, or like somebody.
No, just have one person write everybody's name.
That part too, but then people leave that paper and they're like, oh, I forgot the name, I don't know who I got, I forgot, blah, 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 blah. It became a problem, especially in the past years because we've done Yankee Swap. So I was introduced to this app called Draw Names where you put everybody's name in, everybody downloads the app, and it kind of does like a bingo swirl, and then it dumps a name to you, right? Mm-hmm. And when you apply, like when you download the game, when you download the app, and you put your name or whatever, you register your name, it helps you create a wish list. So when the person receives your name, they can see like what you want. Mm-hmm. And then they curate it by your age and the budget. So in the beginning, you set a budget. The budget for us this year was $30. And you're like, oh, I'm aged between 25 and 35. And so they create a wish list, but you can also like enter like, oh, makeup brushes, and then it'll show you a whole bunch of makeup brushes on Amazon and other sites. So the person, it's just easier for the person that has your name. They're like, all right, this girl really wants to do makeup, or this girl really wants to get into fitness next year, whatever.
That's cute.
It was actually perfect because literally everybody got what they wanted.
Well, not everyone in my family is technologically advanced, so I would do something in a sense like this is what my job did. They don't call it Santa because not everyone believes in Santa. Mm-hmm. We're adults, so we call it Secret Snowflake at my job. So they did this thing where a Google form, you fill out like there's a couple of questions on it, and you fill out the ones that you probably really care for. So if the person wanted to gift you and you don't want any gifts, you wanted to go to your favorite charity, you put the charity you wanted to send it to, coffee, tea, whatever. Luckily, the person I got this year was a coworker I actually like and I hang with. So me purchasing for her was super easy. Like I got things I already knew. Like okay, I have an idea of what she likes, and this fits her personality, so I got it for her. My Secret Santa, pretty dope. I usually always go a little bit over. Our range was $15-$20. I'm like, I feel like I give pretty decent gifts to people, so my gift option usually goes over that range.
I stick to the fucking price.
Not like I didn't spend like $50 or anything like that, but I went slightly over the $20 limit because I'm like it was like few different small items that eventually added up, but it didn't add up to 20, but it was a little bit over 20. I didn't spend like $60 or anything like that, but no, it was cool. We did that. My Secret Santa knows I like chocolate martini, so they gave me a $50 gift card to go to this like restaurant or whatever. I'm like, oh, I feel special. It's like an e-gift card I can use. But no, like I would probably do something similar with the family, but like they would have to write it out honestly, because I'm like, not everyone's technologically advanced and stuff. It would be only honestly my nieces and nephews and me that's like more advanced with the app stuff.
But that's what it is though. Like it's just my siblings and my nieces that play into the Draw Names, because my mom is not considered like part of that, because we all give my mom something. Like so like we all like we get our Secret Santa and then we get something from my mom. She's not part of that. Like she gets all the gifts. She gets all the things.
That's cute.
So that was what we did. My brother-in-law is really into like, we have this tradition, right, in my sibling group where everybody's birthday, we get the worst nastiest, whatever we can find, like the worst alcohol we could find at the liquor store, and we gift it, and everybody takes a shot in the sibling group. It's like a tradition. It started off by accident, and then we just kept on with the tradition, and every year it just gets worse. The alcohol just gets worse. Like when my brother went to Iceland, he came back with some crazy shit. When my brother-in-law and my sister went to Canada, they came back with some nasty, like rum. It was disgusting. But the tradition is you take a shot regardless, like no matter how good or bad it is, and that's kind of like our way of like.
I'm throwing that shit in the trash.
I love that tradition as much as it fucking sucks to drink it. I actually enjoy that.
I'm gagging and I'm throwing it right back up. I hate disgusting liquor.
My sister obviously got to skip out the shit because she's pregnant, but yeah.
Oh, look at her. Y'all should have gave her some nasty juice or something.
No. Because she's pregnant, so she probably has like she's probably always like things will trigger her to gag.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anyways, but that's what we did. That was Christmas Eve, and the reason why we celebrate Christmas Eve and not Christmas Day is because my niece, my brother's daughter, she spends time with her mom and her mom's side of the family on Christmas Day. So, and we always want to include her in anything that we do. So we decided, fuck it, we're just gonna do Christmas Eve, which is great because now we just spend Christmas Day eating leftovers and being lazy.
That's awesome. Awesome sauce.
So, yeah, we had a lot of food. My niece actually ran point on Christmas this year. She cooked everything. Yeah, she cooked everything. So I'm so proud of her. She's 23 cooking Christmas dinner. This is her second Christmas this year. Well,
good for her.
Second Christmas.
I ain't doing it.
Cooking all of the meals. Last year we decided on a seafood boil because we were tired of eating the same fucking shit. And that seafood boil was fire. Like, so bomb. And so, yeah, that's what we did. I'm proud of her because she's taking... I would never cook for everybody. That's just not happening.
I don't like that because it ain't happening.
Yeah,
you get a small pan.
But she really, really enjoys cooking. Let's wrap up the Christmas conversation, right? Because
yes, this episode is supposed to be fun. We're gonna be trying to remember most of the stuff that happened throughout this year. This year has been ghetto. We had good times, bad times, joy, sorrow.
We're recapping 2021.
Yes.
And all of its highlights, its lowlights, like its low points, and its really ghetto points. Ghetto.
Literally, I'm mad. We said it just ghetto. And honestly, this year definitely flew by fast. And some of my friends would be like, I hate when you do that. Where I'll be like, every time when January hits, I'm like, girl, you better do what you need to do because next year you're gonna blink of an eye, we're gonna be saying Happy New Year again for another year, and they'll be like, stop doing it. I'm like, yo, I literally feel like time as an adult has flew by extremely quicker, even quicker than when I was in my 20s. Like, I feel like as a child, I felt like time was dragging. I think at that point is when you was in a rush to become an adult. But even in my 20s, I didn't feel like time was flying by. But I feel like once I hit my 30s, it's like once you hit June, you're halfway through the year. Like, you're trying to enjoy summer, but you're like, shit, it's June. Oh my God, 6 more months. And it's like once you hit September, you're like, this year's almost over because it's like you're entering the fall season. There's only like 3 more months left in the year. Yeah. And I really tell people like, I like to plan ahead because time flies by and it catches up to you a lot. Yeah. So that's why I try my best not to waste so much of it. But yes, this year, I mean, let's see, January 1st, New Year's, blah, 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 still dealing with COVID. COVID is here. I feel like at this point, let's be real here. I feel like COVID is never going to go away, just like the flu. Just like any other virus that we're dealing with. I would say comment, but I don't want FCC or any other government establishment running through our YouTube for what I say.
I will say this. I want to really say, I mean, COVID is literally the focal point of 2020 and 2021. But I really want to like try as much as possible to stay away from that because it becomes a political conversation, and I don't want to not necessarily offend, but just have that conversation because we're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to understand it. We're all trying to do our best to stay healthy and not catch it. But we're all learning together. Doctors, nurses, experts, everybody.
Yeah, it's new, but I mean, I was just gonna say I felt like, you know, it was created.
I mean, listen.
It was created.
Me and you are here.
It was created, and I get it. There's viruses in earth that obviously when it comes in contact with humans, it will naturally get us sick, right? Certain diseases that don't get animals sick, it would get us sick, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So I'm well aware of that. I feel like there's things that have been around for centuries. It's just that we didn't have the appropriate name for it. Like, you know, prime example, autism. Like we didn't know what it was. Kids probably were experiencing autism in the 80s, but we didn't call it that. We were thinking like, oh, there's just something wrong with them, or there's nothing wrong with them, and actually there was something wrong with the child. But now with research and information, we know, okay, this is what this child is experiencing. This is what this adult is experiencing. We have better information, yes. But this COVID situation, this shit,
it's not gonna be.
This is not something that just naturally came into nature, okay? But we're just gonna leave it at that. But like, yes, like you said, like we're still learning about it. Every day there's a different story. There's something new. This other things that come about. That's why I always tell people, you be smart with your own information and do your own research, but don't spread false information. Don't put your own personal opinions.
That's what I want us to stay away from.
So don't make your own personal opinion as fact. So like for me, I personally feel like, you know, it was created and it was something that, oops, mistake, or probably was put in place intentionally. That's my opinion. But I'm not gonna go, I'm not gonna go around and teach it to everybody like, oh yeah, this is what, you know, that's what it is. That's where I stand. And
if the conversation comes and you're asking for my opinion or my thought on the process, on the topic, I'll say my piece, but I will never state it as fact because, again, not the doctors, not the experts, not the nurses, not nobody.
Even the experts don't be not Fauci, all the time, so.
Because he says one thing today and then tomorrow it's like, yeah, by the way.
I mean, one thing I will give him, though, he did say there will be other variants if we don't get this other under control. He said that at the very beginning of this year when they were still working on the vaccine, but the vaccine wasn't out just yet. And he's like, there will be other variants of this, just like the flu. There's variants of it, so every year we get a flu vaccine for those who choose to get a flu vaccine. But I'm just, like you said, we're just putting it out there, like, whatever we say in regards to COVID or anything for that matter, it's our own personal opinion and from our own experience. We're not teaching it as fact. Our own research that we've done. We're not teaching it as fact and saying this is what you're supposed to do.
The only thing I will say is do your own research. Do what's comfortable to you, and try to avoid spreading false information. And
I've seen that a lot.
Endangering others with your false information.
I've seen that a lot. Every time something comes out, I'm not saying, like, I know there's conspiracy theorists in every aspect of life, and some of them may be right, you know what I mean? Sometimes they end up being right, you know what I mean? But we have a lot of people who cannot think for themselves, and you have a lot of people that they follow pages that suit their beliefs, which is fine. But then some people start feeding into it. So it feeds into it and they breed that, and then they spread it to other people who don't know better. And then you have a group of people who are at each other's throat about what they believe in. And it's like, we got to chill out with that. This is how we get divided and we get very decisive with a lot of things. Let's learn to understand and respect people's opinions. They may not be right. They may not be okay. But just respect their decision on whatever they choose to do, as long as they're not harming themselves or others. But just be smart with your decision. Like you said, do your own research, but just keep in mind your research may not be factual. That's it. But to start off with this ghetto ass year,
I think we should start month by month.
Yeah, so I was gonna get to that. So with January, the clear folks, it started at the very beginning. 6 days into January.
The stress of like Trump not winning the nomination and what that would look like for him or look like for us, because he was very much not trying to leave.
Yeah, he still didn't believe, so he was putting in from that time in November when they were still counting the ballots of 2020, and you know there were states that were coming out saying, okay, Biden won that state. And he kept saying, he said it outright, like, oh, if I win, it was a fair election, but if I lose, you know, there was some type of
such a biased statement. Like, it's fucking frustrating.
It's so annoying, and then he gives this speech on January 6th. In a sense, it motivates people to think, like, okay, we're going to go to the Capitol. We're going to take over this shit. And what shocked me the most, and I'm like, oh, Lord, is the fact that we saw white people running into this building, the U.S. Capitol building, jumping through hoops to get to, you know, the senators, and the senators and stuff, and people supposedly not being prepared. But then there was information that was already shared out there that that's what their plan was. And I'm like, yo, black people cannot even breathe towards that building, because when we were protesting for Black Lives Matter, there were National Guardsmen at the Capitol blocking that way so people wouldn't think to go into the building to do any harm, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, time and time again, this country has shown me, and I hope it's shown everybody else, that that honestly, as people of color and black people, and I like to separate the two from time to time, because you can be a person of color and not be black, and I can be black and not be a person of color. So I like to say, as black people specifically, we are not treated the same. We've seen time and time again, we can commit the same exact crime as our white counterpart, but I'm more than likely gonna go to jail, and I'm probably gonna get a harsher sentence than my white counterpart for doing the exact same thing. And we already see what the media does is, if I commit a crime, they're gonna try to find the worst of the worst picture of me doing something I probably did when I was 16, which is normal for a fucking teenager. Yeah. And then a white person they find he probably just murdered his family, right? And they find a picture of him smiling with the family. Like, no, this man's a whole murderer. Like, why are you showing me a picture of him smiling?
What's the recent one? I think it was like a high school shooting.
The kid that
they took like his 12-year-old photo because they couldn't find a good one.
Supposedly.
Like, this man is a whole 4 years later, and y'all couldn't get a good picture.
He's a whole teenager. They're trying to find a picture of him just standing there all innocent. He's not innocent with glasses. He's not innocent. He killed people. Yeah. Like, I get mental state plays a role in that.
Yes, I was going to say that.
That's important, but no, don't try to find a good picture of him. Find that fucking mugshot. They found him. Put that fucking mugshot on the media. Stop playing. So, yeah, so when I saw all that, and how they got into the building, one dude had his feet crossed on Nancy Pelosi's desk. I was just like,
I hope they get all of them.
And then the memes that came out had me dying. The one that got me was someone said, "Where is Gerard Butler? Olympus has fallen. Where is he at?" Like, I was fucking dying. If anyone has ever seen Olympus Has Fallen and all this other stuff, Gerard Butler plays the role of protecting the president, and every single time something happens and the U.S. is in danger and stuff. So that shit had me fucking dying. All black people was just looking like, ooh, child.
The ghetto.
Very ghetto. I was just appalled.
I was just like, thank God it ain't black people.
I kept looking, squeaking like to make sure.
Promise you. And I know all you guys can relate to this. When you hear something wild, crazy on the news, like, please don't let it be black people. Please don't let it be black people. Please don't let it be black people.
Every single time, like, what, you'd be like, were they? And it's crazy to me. So that one, and then even throughout this whole year, they've been sentencing the people that were caught. There's some of them, their children ratted them out, and as they should. Ratting them out, saying, my mom was there or my father was there. Or whatever.
White kids, they don't be holding their parents down at all.
the smart ones will not, especially if they're doing really something fucked up. But no. But even the sentences are a joke. Like, some of them sentences probation, or like maybe like 6 months to a year. And I'm like, if a black person had done that, even if we were even able, and that's a big if we were able to even get into the building, black people have been serving life, probably damn near life in prison. Okay, we got people serving life in prison finding a crumb.
We're going above and beyond, as if the possibility of them actually entering the fucking building would have been an option. They would have been shot and killed.
Literally, if we were marching, we even looked towards that building, would have shot us, assuming that we were attempting to go into that building. So I thought that shit was
it would have been a massacre.
Oh yeah, blood like everywhere. So it's like, I think that part, I was like, wow.
Wait, but pause. Do you have anything that happened to you in January that was like,
No, I mean, I was working from home, and like, I did ask, like, the next day we did have, like, I didn't even teach. I hopped on Zoom and I asked the kids to express how they felt about it. Sometimes when crazy stuff happens, I don't teach a lesson. I put my lesson off to the side, and I asked them, like, seriously, let's have an open dialogue, an open conversation. How do you guys feel about what you guys saw on the news? And they expressed their feelings. A lot of them off the rip say, yo, if black people even thought of doing that, we would have got killed. And it's like, they're 16, 17. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be aware of the world, but for them to already know that, because at 16, 17, that wasn't registering to me. Granted, black people were still being murdered unfairly, but it wasn't. We weren't exposed to it like that.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of it's exposure. So with social media, which is a good thing, that's why I would say social media has its pros and it has its cons. The pros of it, there's a lot of things that we're learning about history that social media is teaching us that we weren't taught in school. In fact,
will not be taught in school.
Will not be taught in school because you gotta think about it. The curriculum is set up in a way to not teach people of color and black people about the real history in America.
Or hold white people responsible of their part in the history.
Yes.
Because to admit that this happened in the hands of white people, it's like
and
a
their
no-no.
ancestors, it's like a no-no. Like, damn, I have to admit I'm wrong.
Like,
so it actually did happen. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. But yeah, I had that conversation with them, very open dialogue. You know, some of them were saying they were upset. And I let them, like, yo, just be open, express your feelings, whatever we discuss here stays here. So a lot of them said they were highly upset and stuff. And, you know, I told them this is going to be a space of honesty, and please be respectful of other people's opinions. Like, don't argue with somebody or make someone feel a type of way. Just let everyone express themselves. So I gave them that space to express themselves and talk. And that's another thing we have to give our children. Space for them to feel safe to talk about their feelings, which
growing up we allow them to talk and not try to dictate their thoughts and feelings.
And you know, because we didn't grow up having, a lot of us didn't grow up having that space that we can express ourselves and tell parents or a guardian or whoever how we really feel. Like, I'm upset because of, you know, this is what you did to me. This is what, we didn't have that. So for them to express their feelings, you make that child feel even more safer that if something really bad does happen, they can come to you regardless of what's taking place, right? So I give them that space that if something happened, they can come to me. The other mess, did anything happen to you in January?
There's only specific months out of the year that were significant to me that I'll address when that month comes. But for January, it was kind of like a blur. I was just kind of like going to work, dealing with mess, living at my sister's house, trying to find an apartment. Like, it's a lot. We'll get to that when we get to March.
Okay. February was the girl with
Gorilla Glue girl.
It don't move. It don't move. Like,
it don't move.
So when I first saw that story, I was like kind of conflicted because I'm like, okay, I kind of understand that it could be an honest mistake, but then at the same time, but Gorilla Glue is in a whole different aisle though. Gorilla Glue will never be nowhere near.
This is me just trying to put the pieces together. I think she ran out of her gots to be glue and was like, I need glue to get this hairstyle to stay, right? So she used the next best thing, not realizing the consequences of that.
This is why, guys, it's very important to read labels. That's why companies go to the extent of even putting, like, you know what's so crazy? I thought it was so funny to me is the cup that they put your coffee in and hot chocolate. It says, caution, contents may be hot. Because someone literally sued, I think McDonald's years ago, for hot coffee that fell on her lap. And I was like, coffee's hot. Coffee's never given to you cold unless you order iced coffee. So I think that was obvious, but
common sense is not common.
It's not. It's really not. I understand. I give props when people sue for literal reasons, but that aspect, I was like, what? But whatever. That's why, like, companies.
Why the reason why now they put the calorie count on the menu signs, because people were like, oh, I didn't know it was this many calories, and now I'm suing you because I'm fat.
If I'm eating McDonald's French fries supersized, at the time they were doing supersized every single day with soda and a Big Mac, I think eventually I will gain weight, especially if I'm not working out or doing any other thing that to help curb that.
Yep.
Makes no sense. But yeah, so a lot of it was like honestly taking our time to read stuff. And I get it, when you're in a rush you don't think about that, but like I feel like anything that's about to go on my skin or my hair, I have to read it to make sure I don't fuck up, because no one wants to lose their hair. But luckily there was a doctor, a black doctor that created a concoction to help remove that glue off of her hair.
I think recently she was in the news for something similar, and I was
Lord. And here's the thing, I feel like, and this is why mental health and self-esteem is very important, because a lot of people do a lot of weird shit just so they can, you know, how some people say clout chase or be famous, and they're famous for the wrong things. You're famous because you're doing something stupid online and people are laughing at you, not with you. And it really pains me sometimes. I'm like, some people lack that a lot. Prime example, I just, you know, the Shade Room has this segment now called TSR Investigate. And I think it's pretty dope, because I be watching it sometimes and they really be doing real life investigation. The guy that does it, he has an amazing voice. He should be a newscaster, legit. I love his voice. And yesterday I was catching up because I saved a few. And this woman met this guy online during the pandemic. And
I seen this.
You seen that one? And
she dumb, and I don't want to hear it. Like
that one. Once I heard she said, oh yeah, he was saying like he needed extra money, something to his hotel in Dubai or a flight out. I said, nope, that's when he would have been blocked and the conversation would have ended. So I'm not sending money to nobody that I've only spoken to online, never physically seen, we never FaceTime.
Not even in a relationship.
Not even in a relationship, nothing. And I'm sending the money. You have to be super gullible and very low self-esteem. That's why someone even wrote in the comments like, yo, catfish been out for over 10 years and y'all still falling for this shit.
Never learned anything from it.
Never. I cannot trust anyone that I'm only talking to through phone, text, even online. Because online, I can put a fake profile picture. Yeah. I can change my profile picture and change it, switch it up, and you don't know who I really am. You know what I mean? So a lot of people have been getting people that way, scamming their way by stealing. Pretty much, you're stealing money. But it's like we really have to be vigilant and be really like use your brain. Like people who are still falling for these Bitcoin people that be requesting you and then telling you to do a video, send your information for you to get Cash App money, but then they end up taking over your account. I don't know how many people's accounts have been taken over and I end up blocking their account because it's not them. Because once they start texting me, hello, how would you like to make some money? Blocked. No, I'm all set. Because the government ain't giving me no free money like that. I mean, shit, Joe Biden don't want to cancel student debt. So you think they're going to Instagram me, DM me? To send me money, like you gotta think. Like the elderly, I can understand them getting caught up in certain things, like with the phone calls, because they don't know better. That's why I tell my mother, someone's calling you about the ways they can save you money, hang up. Don't talk to them. Someone's ringing the doorbell and you wasn't expecting customers, hang up, because them telemarketing people now they be coming to your house saying, oh, we can offer great discount. Nope, my mother, nope, sorry, we're good. I close the door. They're almost as annoying to a certain extent. No offense to anyone. Jehovah's Witnesses. When they used to just constantly ring the doorbell every Saturday. I mean, since COVID, they haven't come to the door. But these other telemarketing people from, like, cable companies and gas companies, they're annoying as fuck, asking us for information. Do not give your information. IRS never calls anybody. IRS wants information, they're going to send you a letter to your house. They'll send a letter to your house. They won't email you. They do not call. Even the Social Security Administration office, they will send you letters. Government stuff sends you letters, guys. Do not fall for that shit. She fell for that shit and that pissed me off.
She's stupid.
But anything happened to you in February? No. February, what happened to me? Honestly, I worked from home from March of 2020 up until the end of March of this year. So I've been working from home. And what I'll say is during this time period, it was a lot of strain in a sense because I missed the balance of my home life and workspace. So everything's conjoined into one. I'm sitting down a lot, so my lower back and upper back was all distorted. So I started to see a chiropractor to like realign and readjust my back because it was like atrocious. So being home this whole time was kind of like annoying. Like honestly now personally I don't mind working from home if there's a space where the job is like, okay, we just need you to come in 1 day a week or 2 days a week, fine. But I can separate the two. But literally we got thrown into it thinking we were eventually gonna go back, but we never went back, and it was straight Monday through Friday on the computer. And some people assume you have more time when you're home. You do not. It's worse.
That concept to my mom was like, but you're home so you can talk to me. I was like, no, I'm everything.
I cannot. March.
Oh God. March, I feel like everybody was getting played because I'm looking now at what's on your screen and I'm like, yo, I have something to share about March, but go ahead.
So March is when I
went back to school.
Was physically going back to the building, but I wasn't seeing a lot of kids. A lot of kids still, the students had the option to stay home. They had they could stay remote, and then other students decided they wanted to be hybrid, where they would come into the building, and if they, God forbid, test positive, they have to stay home. So as educators, we had no choice. Desi was like, nope, you guys gotta go in the building, whatever. So during that time, it was like, okay, I honestly did not know what to wear. I literally forgot what I was supposed to wear to work. Because this whole year and a half, I was wearing scrubs and a t-shirt, hopping online, scrubbing a t-shirt. On days that the kids was not going to show themselves, I literally had a bonnet on. I'm home. Who's going to see me? Like, I literally forgot the whole concept of what to wear. And so I literally had to plan out my outfits for that week because I didn't know what the fuck to wear. Because I'm like, yo, I really would go into work with some sweatpants right now, but I can't. But March was kind of ghetto.
Relationship guru.
Derek Jackson got caught up, girl. Cheating. A hot
on
mess.
His wholesome wife.
The helmet of salvation. You know what pains me the most?
I feel so bad for her.
I felt bad for her because it's like, this man, nothing worse is when your significant other, male or female, humiliates you publicly, especially on social media, because he has a huge platform. A lot of women, and I was one of those women that followed him, but I always felt like, there's no such thing as a perfect human being at all. No one's perfect. And honestly, I didn't even know the man was married. I didn't even know he was married because he never posted her, never mentioned marriage. But it was funny to me because August of 2020, he posts an old picture of them when they got married. I'm like, did he just get married or something? He was in a relationship. But lo and behold, slowly but surely, this year, things started popping up. Come to find out, I guess around that time when the story started coming out, the woman that he was messing with, told the story what happened and was trying to, in a sense, extort it. And that's when he started like trying to play catch up, like, oh, let me start posting my wife and all this other stuff, post all these things. He wasn't doing a lot of the videos sitting in his car telling the stories anymore. He was just posting her a lot. I'm like, that's weird. And so lo and behold, the story comes out. He's messing with a bunch of women. One woman said, he's recording this video outside of my house. That's my porch. This is what my house looks like. And I'm like, yo, that is fucking crazy. The video that made me cringe the most is the video when he had the wife sitting on the couch and people were like, yo, if you're in danger, blink twice. Like, it was crazy.
I felt so bad.
I felt bad for her. It's like cringeworthy saying all these things.
Because I didn't follow him like, oh, I'm following him, he's like popping up in my feed. But like when somebody reposts, I watch or I agree or I repost. And so, what the hell was I about to say? My brain, y'all, is just not working. Damn, what the fuck was I about to say?
And when you saw the video?
He made me realize like perfection is just non-existent, and you just have to find what works for you and who you are as a person. Following these people that are experts, especially in relationships and love, is almost like redundant. Like, you can't be an expert on something that's so like vast in meaning. Like,
and it looks different for everyone.
Exactly. Like, it looks different. There's people that follow polygamy. There's people that follow monogamy. There's people that are queer and like anybody in the LGBTQ community. So it always looks different depending on who you're talking to. So why am I following someone that seems to be like an expert on this thing that has so many of it's a big umbrella with so many.
You know what's so crazy? You know how even with as a medical expert, I'm trying to tie in the two. We see even in science, even though we have experts in science and in the medical field,
things change
all the time. Sometimes they have to go back to what they say. You know, research has shown, like, actually, you know, we used to do tests this way, but actually this is what you're supposed to do. Things change. So what makes you think, you being an expert, that relationships hasn't... We've seen in the last 10 years how relationship constructs have changed over time. Like, we've seen how women, especially black women, people will say, oh, you know, women nowadays are not like our grandmothers. Yeah, because our grandmothers dealt with a lot. They dealt with abuse, they dealt with infidelity, and they had to stick by him.
And I don't think a lot of it was by choice. I think a lot of it was for survival.
For survival.
At one point, and I recently, sorry, I don't mean to hit you, but I recently learned this, and I'm sure you already knew this prior, but women, I knew women couldn't have bank accounts, but I didn't know you couldn't, like, mortgage, like, you couldn't own a home, you couldn't
get a bank card,
you could barely get a job, like, so your livelihood was dependent on the man to make so if you were to leave the man, you are homeless, you are jobless,
even if he's abusive, even if he had other women and got other women pregnant, he'll probably bring those children to you to take care of. You couldn't really do anything. So women now, yes, we getting degrees. We have a lot of business.
We're establishing our own foundation.
Yes,
and we're looking for someone to meet us and contribute to that. But that construct is still fairly new, especially to men who are like a man's man and has this perception of what a relationship should look like and want to have a relationship that their parents or their grandparents had. But it's like, we're not in that generation anymore. That doesn't work for this generation. First off, that one income household shit don't work no more. Unless you're making over 100K.
You see how gas high is?
You have to be making six figures. And when I say six figures, not 100K. I'm talking 200 and up to maintain a one income household. And take care of
6 items like 2-3 weeks ago. 6 items $75. So you're telling me we're gonna survive?
Listen, I bought crackers, cheese, and like meat to do a charcuterie board. Charcuterie board for Christmas, and it was $75 One, because I'm bougie as shit, so I gotta get the goat cheese and all that other shit. But I was like, this isn't even grocery. Like, this is not even a grocery this is just for a little board for Christmas. Like, what?
That's why I be like, those of you who have all these kids, more power to you, because I'm only feeding myself, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Imagine adding another mouth to feed.
I'm over here trying to figure out, like, okay, what meal of the day could I cut back on? Because
right. So it's like, the thing is, and this is why I think I said in the last podcast, find the person that fits that mold for you. Do not get with a person that does not fit that mold. You're gonna try to force them to change. Yep. I don't like that. We don't like that. A lot of people
because
don't like
ideally,
that.
Physically, they might be what you want, or like there's certain attributes about them that's like fitting, but there's like these one or two that just like is not working for what you want in a relationship. So you try to change that part, but you not realizing changing that one or two things will change everything.
Yeah.
In the process, and
I'm gonna say is, do not change for a person who's not making adjustments as well, and do not change for a person and realizing the change is really to construct and mold you to a person that you really and you're not, and you realize you're losing yourself. Mm-hmm. So, and then you're not even factoring children into this mold too, because when you become a mother, you do change too. But if this person's already trying to change who you are, and you are a wholesome person, a lively person, this person's trying to dim your light, you need to leave that person, man or woman, whoever you may be. Don't change for people unless you want to
have a rebuttal to that.
What?
Because so this change that is necessary, and this change that is not conducive to the person that you are. You always, for me, because I have a lot of trauma, I have to differentiate. Is this trauma protecting me, or like am I using my past to make an excuse for this change not happening? Or is this a change that needs to happen in order to be the best version of myself? So when a person's pointing out like, hey, this is not how I want things to be, this needs to change, you then have to really sit and think about, is the change that they're requesting going to elevate this relationship and elevate me as an individual, or is this change only benefiting one person?
Well, no, when I said don't change for a person, I don't mean, oh, don't change at all. There's, as humans, we already addressed that common sense isn't common. Well,
so
that's true.
Elaborate.
Yes. Change is good as long as that change is not making you change who you are in the sense where it becomes where you lose yourself. Like you're losing yourself, how you are. You're a genuine person, you're happy-go-lucky, you're outgoing, you're a social butterfly, and this person's telling you, you need to stay home. You go out too much. Like little things like that. Trying to control your movements or control your money or make you, one thing they say pay attention to is when you guys eventually live together, like you live in this more far out place that it's really hard for you to see friends and family, pay attention to stuff like that. That's what I meant, but I get it. You know, common sense is so common, so be very clear. But
that happened to me. Well, almost happened to me since I got out.
So change is good, yes. Yeah. But if the change is causing you, is really conflicting for you, where it's like, I'm not happy the way this person's trying to make me be, then you should really be like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. But if the change is needed because you're hurting that person.
But that's something you have to sit and reflect on.
Yes.
Like,
you can't
when people are asking you to do something major, you have to really sit and think about it. Because a lot of the times for me, trauma was talking. It wasn't me reflecting on whether or not this part of me or this action of this behavior of mine is part of my personality, or if it's just my trauma protecting me. But so that was in March. Mr. Jackson was trifling as fuck, and I don't know what his following is like. I don't know what his.
I stopped following him because I didn't like, and then it got to a point. I guess people were commenting how she looked and stuff, and then she,
it was very fucking awkward.
And then she created another video. She's like, "You guys are talking about my hat, but this hat is a helmet of salvation," and all this other stuff. So it made it kind of worse and stuff. So I was like, it made me cringe again. I'm like, I hope. She looks like a very I mean, looks can be deceiving, but she looks like a wholesome woman. Like, she really loves this guy. And who knows what conversations they have behind closed doors. We don't know that. And I feel bad for her because it's like, you stick by this person. And I've always learned that sometimes they embarrass you again, or they find another way to cheat for you not to find out. Yeah. It's like, do you really actually stopped? Like, literally, oh shit, I got caught. Let me, like, I almost lost this woman.
Men who feel it necessary to cheat, you need to really evaluate whether monogamy is something for you.
Yeah. If you really can't stick around with one person, you want to jump from person to person, or you feel like you need multiple women, evaluate yourself first, because polygamy isn't just about fucking a bunch of people at the same time.
I had a really great conversation with somebody on this, and he understands what polygamy is about and what it entails and what it requires from a man, right? And there's various different levels, I guess, or like versions of polygamy. And people, honestly, when you spit that word out, you need to know what that requires of you or the people that you're going to put into this community. Yes. It's very interesting. I know for myself, and thankfully I have not done anything permanent in my life, like permanent, like have children or whatever. Because over time, I was always conflicted on whether I wanted kids out of fear of missing out. Because my family would always say, like, you need to have kids and you need to do this. And what are you going to do? And I'm like, damn, do I really want kids? Or am I just speaking out of, like, selfishness? Like, what am I? Now I can say with certainty that's not for me. Two, I was always back and forth on marriage. And now I can say with certainty, I don't know if that's for me. I can't say for certainty, like, oh my God, marriage is a hell fucking no. I just haven't met the person to make me feel comfortable with that idea and that conversation. And then there's other things and other variables that we'll get into come next year that I want to touch on. But there's things that, like, was taught to me as, like, the way to live and the way to act and the way to be. And I was like, it never sat with me. It never, like, stuck with me. It never, like I was certain that this is what I wanted, right? And then as the years gone, and I kept pushing it off, like, all right, I don't want to make that. That's a permanent decision. I don't want to make that decision just yet. I've now grown, and at 34, I'm like, I can now say with certainty. I can now say with confidence. I can now speak on these things and not feel like people are going to manipulate my words or try to convince me otherwise, because I'm so set on that feeling now. But people who make those decisions at 25 and then realize at 34 that wasn't the decision for them, I can't even imagine. Like, thankfully I haven't made any permanent decisions, but that's for 2022 conversation. But March, okay, so back to this Derek Jackson shit. For me, in March, I was back and forth in a relationship, a long distance relationship. Someone that I've known since I was 16. It was like my first boyfriend at the time. And, you know, we were dated for a little while. We broke it apart. He went to the army. He established another relationship, whatever. That relationship dissolved. And we reconnected. And it was 2 years of, like, back and forth. And the reason why I was staying with my sister was because I didn't want to sign a lease and be permanently stuck in Boston. Because I was kind of conflicted on whether or not I should move and stay with him where he was living. And so that was the process. So it took me 9 months to figure it out, but I figured it out. Still, I don't want to be in Boston. Like, I think I definitely need to move out of the state. I just don't know what state where that is. But we had, like, a big blowout in March. We finally decided, like, all right, enough is enough. We've been doing this back and forth shit for fucking years, and it's gotten us nowhere. Will I say that's what I wanted? No. Was that what was necessary at the time? Yes. Are there things that I'm discovering as the months and years go by that I'm like, damn, Jessica, it was in your face and you didn't think of it? Yes. To this day. To this fucking day. I'm still picking up stuff like, that was interesting. That makes sense now. That was the sign that I'd fucking missed.
Don't you hate that years later?
And now I just want to fight. Like, let's fight. Because at this point... Yeah, so that was my March. So, because there's only a few months that are like clear. I can see what happened, whatever. January and February was kind of like a blur, but March was very clear. I went to see him and my goddaughters, and shit blew up, and it was a loss. So, But anyways, that was my March. Well, how was your March outside of this Derek Jackson shit?
I said my March. I went back to work. Didn't know what to wear.
Oh yes.
It was like weird. April. One word. Well, not one word. One line. Double homicide.
Wait, let me see.
The chick that was on that cabaret show with
the Jocelyn Cabaret.
Jocelyn Cabaret, and she said, she aborted her twins, and the girl in the back was like, "Damn, double homicide." She's like, "Bitch."
I would have fucking rocked
that
shit.
meme. It created a whole thread meme for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like she was bold to even say that on TV.
What? That she got an abortion? Or the girl saying double homicide?
Well, both of them.
I think it was a vulnerable moment. I didn't watch the episode in its entirety, but like they were having a vulnerable moment, and she said her piece. Like that is her truth. You can't take that away from her.
No, I'm not taking her truth away from her because
that chick is trash for saying what the hell she said. I would have whooped her.
Because I think from her explanation, the abortion was fresh. Like it wasn't far apart from when she hopped on the show. But the girl in the background said double homicide. Like,
listen, if having children at the time that you decide to get an abortion is not the time, and you make that decision, go. I'm here for people wanting to be parents and are ready to be parents. I'm sick of these people coming out here like, well, I'm pregnant and this is what happens. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do, and they're not even fucking prepared. And now they're dishing their fucking kids off to their grandparents or their parents. Like, no, that's trash. If you're fucking ready,
all I'm gonna say to people.
I was about to say something fucking wild just now.
You do not control women and their uteruses, okay?
No.
So if a woman chooses to keep their child, that's fine. If they choose to get an abortion, that's fine. The thing that upsets me is the people who are controlling women or trying to control women tell them, "Oh,
the government,
yes,
Congress, whatever."
and there's individuals as well, the ones that stand outside of Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics trying to, "Oh, you're killing." But here's the thing. How many of y'all are willing to go to DCF and adopt a child, foster a child? There's millions of kids in the foster care system. And the foster care system is fucked up because sometimes the people that they place these children to end up abusing them, and they're worse off than what the child. So why do you want me to bring? So here's the thing: y'all are adamant of people not aborting their children, but they bring these children into this world. You're not providing any services for them. Where are these people at? Are you giving money? Are you giving shelter? Especially if this person has no means, and we don't know in what circumstances that this woman ended up pregnant. God forbid, she probably got raped, incest for whatever reason. And they realize I can't keep this child. And people who want to keep their children for whatever reason, yes, you can provide that space in a healthy environment. But people who are fucked up mentally and still dealing with their traumas, it sucks. You do not want to bring that child into that cycle because sometimes the cycle may repeat itself. Maybe that child might break that curse, but sometimes it doesn't happen. You can't guarantee it. So for people who want to speak on women who want to get an abortion or not get an abortion, let people do what they want to do at the end of the day. If you're not providing a solution to that, you can't speak on it. So it bothers me a lot when the government and other people who want to put their religious beliefs, some people are not religious, some people don't believe in any of the religions that exist on this earth, so let them be. The thing is, you can't force people, and that's the problem I have with some religions. You can't force people to convert. You can't force people to follow what you follow. You can speak on it, and if they choose to go the way you're going, then great. If they don't,
I think the best way to get anybody to be convinced on what you're trying to force them into is being that person. So if you want people to follow your religion or hear the word of God, you need to be that person. You need to walk in that path. Because that's how I'm attracted to a conversation or attracted to a situation or whatever. Like if somebody's like acting as they should, as a good Christian or as a good Catholic or whatever your religion is, I'm gonna be like, wow, this is a great example of a person
And we know humans are not perfect. We get that. I mean, I'm coming from a Christian standpoint. You cannot sit here and talk about Christianity and you're causing harm. Because if you're trying to follow Jesus' way, Jesus did not do that. Jesus hung with the worst of the worst people. If you guys actually read the books, he hung out with prostitutes. He hung out with the worst of the people. But literally he said, come as you are. So if you're telling me because I come as I am, and then you're throwing rocks at me at the same time, how you expect me to follow that? No one's perfect. If we were perfect, we wouldn't need anything. We wouldn't need no rules, no constructs, no laws put in place, because we would be able to live in harmony. In fact, we do not. So the thing is, it's like the people who are screaming out, bloody murder and people who are talking about, you know, Christianity and religion are the ones who commit the worst, be the worst of the worst. Like, just because you go to church every day or whatever doesn't make you perfect, because there are demons in church, okay? There are demons up in that church where there's bad people, there's good and bad, light and dark in every aspect of life. Some strange way it balance each other out, I guess. But we can't fault people or punish people for what they choose to do for themselves, as long as they're not harming another individual here. But May, who child, was the whole what's her face, Portia
stealing her friend's husband,
talking about they weren't friends. But child, boo, you was all up in that woman's house. Okay, with your cheeks flapping around everywhere, all in her pool, and then you're gonna be like, I don't, it doesn't, this is how I feel. If I met a woman, even if we're not friends, but I'm in her space, invite me to her home, or we chatted a few times, and then to top it off, I meet her significant other or the person she was dealing with, I'm not going to cross that line and entertain them, even if that man has the audacity, because audacity is free nowadays, to come to me and approach me. I'm like, no, I'm good. Mm-hmm. And if he's in a current relationship and I'm wherever, I'm like, I don't think your wife would be happy about this. I don't think your girlfriend would be happy, because some niggas, they be like, oh, here she go. No, if you're not happy, and I know it's easier said than done, you need to leave that shit alone. Don't drag anybody else into your drama. Because one thing I hate, someone hit me up, oh, I want to talk to women to women. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. Because I'm not that type of woman. And I hate when people are like, oh, we weren't even cool like that. You know this person. You've been in their space. You ate with them, whatever it was. Y'all broke bread to a certain extent. I am not entertaining their significant other, even if it ended years ago. Unless I didn't know about it and I'm finding out, oh, that's so-and-so's ex. I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. But if we never met, cross paths, and I'm entertaining this person, it might be a different story. Like, I didn't know this woman or whatever. It might end up making the situation awkward when eventually, you know, the world is small and Boston is even smaller. You have functions and you end up crossing paths with this person. That's a different story. But if I know this person prior, I'm not going to snatch them up. Now they're engaged and they're taking Christmas. They're just the Christmas pictures I saw in the shade room.
But it looks like they're both in a healthier relationship. Like, she's with that man. Now that Phelan is married.
She got married? I thought she had a baby.
She's engaged or married.
I think she had a baby.
And she had a baby. But they're definitely like something like engaged or married, bitch.
Oh, okay.
No fair. Yeah, I mean,
I just thought that was just messy.
It was messy. Thankfully I don't have friends like that.
Ooh,
and when I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, it was just messy. Ooh, child. So for June, June is this dude. If you guys remember, this wasn't like a very happy-go-lucky story. If you guys remember the dude that was defending himself after killing his girlfriend and attempted to kill one child, the other child survived, and one of the other children didn't make it, obviously.
See, I laughed only because of how he was portrayed in the media, but I did not know what he was on trial for, so that's not funny.
Yeah, he literally was yelling in the courtroom. That's what really made me upset. I'm like, who are you yelling at? That's not how you defend yourself. You yelling
at the jury.
He's saying it wasn't him, and the child literally said, Daddy, you stabbed me. Like, your child, the fact that your child has to go up against you and repeat and go through that trauma, I think it's very sickening. Like, some people need help. Like, they don't really need help. This is not okay. Yeah. But no, I think there was a few memes about it, because he tried to say it wasn't him and he was framed and tried to set him up. I'm like, so someone killed your girl, your other child, and attempted to kill your child to frame you when evidence points towards you. It's like, he didn't want a lawyer. I'm like, you cannot defend yourself if you don't have no type of expertise in the law. Like, you really would have to take the time to really study and look over old court cases, docket cases, all that, in order for you to really truly defend yourself and know the law to an extent.
I forgot something about May. May, I went to Aruba with my sisters, and this is right before I got this apartment. And I was like, yeah, I just put stupid money down to move. I'm not going anymore. So my sisters basically was like, we got you. So they paid for my flight. They paid for pretty much everything. And I was like, bro, what do I do to deserve you guys? But that was like our first sisters trip, and I think that's something that we want to do more often. It's gotten us super, super close, as if we weren't close enough. Like, my family's disgustingly close. It's uncomfortable sometimes.
They're all conjoined.
Like, legitimately, we all look like Siamese twins. Like, we all look like twins, and we all just, like, super fucking close. And so, yeah, that was our first sister's trip. One of my sisters couldn't go, the one that's married. Currently, she's been with her husband since they were 16. She had her wedding anniversary in the next month, and she was like, I can't do two trips back to back. Like, this is not happening. But next, I hope 2022, well, I'm going to make it happen. 2022, we're going on another trip, but it's going to be all the sisters.
Just don't be Cape Verde, because I want to go to Cape Verde. Don't do Cape Verde.
No, I'm not doing, listen, y'all understand how expensive it is to go out there, because you can't just go out there.
I know, but we can plan events and put money together.
No. What I'm saying is, and I know this is fact for maybe Haitians, when you go to Cape Verde, especially if you're visiting family, you have to go and bring the money for your family.
No, we're not going. Well, no, never mind.
So, like, I can't go to Cape Verde and not go see my family. We can go to other islands, of course. Like, there's, like, a resort. Like, there's an island called Brava. They have a resort. It's really nice. But if I go to Cape Verde and I don't go see my fucking brother and my family, I will never hear the end of it. Like, I would be exiled from the family, pretty much.
Okay. So. For me, I forgot. I threw a party for my boyfriend for his 35th, because he wasn't trying to do anything. Yeah. He's like, oh, I never celebrate my birthday. I'm like, no, you're turning 35. It's a milestone, especially as a black man. You know, you're
that party was so beautiful.
I asked him, what theme do you want? He's like, oh, I want a Rock Nation brunch theme. I'm like, all right, cool. So I hit up my girl, Effie Events, she's my event planner. So I hit her up and she's like, what colors do you want? What's the theme? I literally give her the colors, the theme, and she does whatever. Unfortunately, that day it rained. It was raining cats and dogs. But last minute, it was probably cold. Yep, last minute I was able to get a tent and heating lamps so people would be comfortable. But yeah, it turned out great. Like, a lot of his friends came to me and said, yo, this man never celebrates his birthday. So the fact that you're able to pull this off, girl. I was like, yeah, it's a lot of begging, but it made it happen. So that's what happened in May, and then
June was the guy defending himself. Terrible.
July was when, of course, we started Uncomfortable Growth Podcast.
I forgot.
Yes, and so 2022, July 2022 will be a 1 year anniversary. We have to do something big for that one. But anyways, July was the story in regards to the track runner. What was her name? Oh my God, I can't believe.
I know it's Richardson. What is that first name?
Damn. The one with the colorful wigs and the weaves, and she be doing it big. But I guess she got caught up with the whole. Well, at the time, her mother had passed, and she was doing well. But then they tested her, and they said that it tested her blood, whatever, urine tested positive for weed. So she got booted out of the Olympics. There was other stuff she got booted out of, but she was able to qualify for one of them, and the one of them she got qualified for, she ended up 9th place or something like that. Like so behind. People were coming. So I understand both sides.
I love when people be coming for athletes and they don't have an athlete bone in their body.
Exactly. People are coming.
So you're telling her she needs to excel after losing her mom, losing everything she worked so hard.
So the way she could cope was smoking weed. We get it. It may not be the best way.
No, I'm not even talking about the weed part. Like, you want her to excel in that race that she was able to run, right? But you still have to think about the scrutiny that she faced in the in media. Losing a lot of, like, being disqualified from a lot of the other runs that she's worked literally her whole fucking life to get to, and losing her mom. Like, what? Well, no. You can't even get out of bed.
The part I was saying is she was smoking, and a lot of people said she was using it to cope for the death of her mom.
Yeah,
and so and the thing is, it's like, bro, y'all failed to realize she was smoking and still literally smoking people on the track. So there's like, literally, we didn't interfere with that, but we get it. There's rules and regulations and the Olympics. Like, they cannot find nothing in your system. They're not supposed to find nothing. And I get that.
Just because the rules are there doesn't mean that it's applicable at the time. It probably was applicable when weed was illegal, but now that weed is being legal in a lot of our states, it's kind of redundant to even have that as a rule. It's not an enhancing drug. It doesn't enhance.
It slows you down, but I think it's because Olympics, though, you're not only dealing with the U.S., you're dealing with other countries,
But that's the thing. Like, if the drug was an enhancing drug like steroids, I would understand it. It's not helping her run faster.
No. It's not. She's just a good runner. I mean, listen, I used to run track, and I'm old, so she would beat me 10 times over and over.
High.
And over. High, while she's high. And I don't even smoke. So
I just feel bad for her.
There's a lot of things I don't speak on. Like, I'll have my opinion, I don't speak on it because it's like, that's not my place to be speaking on people. And yet again, social media gives people that free range to say whatever they want. It's like, shut up. When's the last time you even ran? You huffing and puffing just to go to the door to get your meal. Child boo. Anyways, the only thing I said to myself in my heart, I pray that she comes back stronger than ever, and all the people who doubted her, she kills it again. August was that freaking meme, but it came from a video where these neighbors were getting on to the people at the house right next to them, coming towards them, and the guy, I guess, arguing with them, and then the wife turned on the hose against them. But the lady, it's the meme with the lady like putting her hand like towards the...
You made him cry all night.
Literally, so they've been using memes. So one of them was like, God, these weapons look like they're prospering a little bit. Like,
that is 2021 in a song.
Literally. So that meme was literally crazy. It had threads for weeks at a time. We're gonna post this on our page so you guys will see what we're talking about. September was back to school for us. We were told we're going back into the buildings, which was fine. Going back to school, so I was happy about it, but no one knows how to really do when it comes to COVID. Like, 1 minute they're telling this, 1 minute they're telling that. And I'm like, well, if there's a high number of cases in the schools should close, and we should go to be remote for 2 weeks. Like, you shouldn't be putting teachers at risk. I'm like, honestly, a lot of these jobs have shown us they do not give a fuck about us. I mean, I've always personally felt that way prior to COVID, but COVID has shown us time and time again, a lot of these jobs do not give a fuck about us, because if you pass away today, they'll send their condolences, maybe some flowers to your family if they care enough, and then within seconds, if that, your job is already posted. For teachers, they might have a long-term substitute cover you for that time being, but come September, and granted, life goes on without you, they're already hiring the next person. So it's like, do your job, do it well, yes, but don't kill yourself for that job, because that job is not worried about you. The people who are going to be dealing with that loss is your friends and your family. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's why sometimes I be like, my mental state ain't feeling right. I'm calling out sick. My mental state is way more important, way more important to me than coming in and being miserable and, God forbid, snapping at a student. I always make sure my feelings are in check and I don't take it out on my students. But for you guys that don't deal with students, but you're dealing in the workspace, instead of you snapping at your boss or whoever else, your mental state ain't right and you got enough sick time, take it. I feel like jobs should start adding mental health days as a separate entity from sick days. Like, there's days that you're physically sick, like you have a cold, now with COVID in the mix, you have a flu, but mental health days where you feel like I'm mentally not in the right space, I feel like I'm not going to really do my job in that workspace. I'm taking a mental health day. Depending on how many number of mental health days that the job gives, I feel like jobs should start factoring that in automatically. I shouldn't have to beg for that. And then did something happen for you in September?
Our birthdays.
Yes, of course. Virgo season. Virgo season starts at the end of August anyways.
We were hella fucking annoying.
Hella annoying. Y'all got tired of us?
Yeah, so I have I have 4 god kids. 2 of the 4 are Virgos. First, the 5th, then it's Peggy's birthday, then it's my birthday, then it's my cousin's birthday, then it's my best friend's wife's birthday, who's also now my best friend. Yeah, so it's just a lot of birthdays in September. And we're hella fucking annoying. And I'm here for it every fucking time. But yeah, nothing happened drastically. No. I made 2 years at my job. Yay. Not with you and that fake ass yay.
Congratulations.
Fucking great. Yeah.
Okay, September. So September.
And we was bourgeois in September. We went to fucking Mastro's spending.
I love Mastro's. I love that place. Nobody's raggedy ass son. Well, I love my boyfriend, but nobody's raggedy ass son who said, "Oh, I took this bitch to make sure." No, you did not.
Yo, I was watching something. He's like, you see these bitches out here fucking spending a bag on just brunch.
Our purses are bottomless.
By ourselves. Mind you, we got a discount on some stuff because I knew the manager, and we still was spending. We was spending. And I was like, bitch, I'm never do this shit again.
This is what I go to work for. I don't go to work to just pay taxes and bills. I'm going to enjoy that fucking shit.
Yeah, I spend stupid money on food, guys. I don't know why. I will contemplate on a $20 shirt forever. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, $20 steak? Bet, say less. That's actually dirt cheap, actually.
Actually cheap, but
yeah,
I'll spend money on some good food and a good time. I'll spend money on that shit because you can... Having good food at a good restaurant is a good experience. You want to create experiences and moments. That's how I feel. September, big show that came out. I finally caught up with it was Squid Game.
Squid Game. I'm about to say Squidward. Squid Games. I was obsessed.
So the African American urge to call Squid Games, because black people always add in letters to things that. When I finally watched the show...
Do I say Squid Games?
Yeah, we create our own shit. When I played it, I'm like, Squid Game. Oh, it's Squid Game. We were sitting here saying Squid Games.
Squid Games, because it was multiple games.
True, but, it's coming from a different culture.
If it was one game... I mean, granted, the concept is like one game and whoever wins. But there was games...
Multiple different ones. But no, it was dope. The craziest thing, the guy who wrote it spent 10 years trying to get...
Yeah.
A production company
to take on that,
and he was determined. Netflix, and he ended up grossing like over I don't know how many millions of dollars.
It was the highest watched in all it had the highest rating in Netflix for the longest. I don't know if somebody beat that recently.
I don't know, but that calls for determination. You know how many times? You know how frustrating that can be when someone closes the door in your face time and time again.
It's not even like he tried to pitch another show.
No,
like, he kept pitching the same motherfucking show. Like, when y'all gonna...
And the crazy thing to find out that he did it for 10 years. Like, he was pitching this for 10 years. You know how frustrating that is? Eventually, you might... Just imagine, who knows, he probably was about to give up, and Netflix was like, we'll take that. And now here we are.
I just think when he was pitching it, it wasn't the right era for that kind of show.
Maybe.
And now it makes sense.
Maybe you're right. That's true. Yo, when the memes that were coming out, guys. The memes that were coming out for this show, I was just like,
I'm obsessed with that show, and I cannot wait if they come up with a season 2.
No, I feel like they are because it didn't say limited series. So when Netflix put limited series, that means they're not coming back with it. Yeah. That you gotta catch.
I try to stay away from those shows because I get pissed because they'd be really good. I'm like,
they can do another season, but no, this one looks like definitely might be another one. October was mostly... Oh, God.
What is that? Let me see.
So, October was this guy that married his goddaughter. She turned 18.
Can we, run through this fast?
Okay, really quickly. People pretty much said he pretty much... what's that word? He groomed her. Because it's like, that's your godchild, even if you're not blood related, but that's still a relation. Her parents entrusted you to take care of her if something was to happen to them. So he married his godchild. It seems as though they already have children, which is disgusting. And people were saying like, no, this man needs to go to prison. That means he was already grooming her prior to 18. We know once you're 18, you don't need consent from your family. You can get married.
The really bad part is she's so beautiful, and this man looks like a slime,
because they say he's like 40, 50 something years old. That's fucking disgusting. And this is why I'm like, a lot of people will scream protect black women, but y'all selective of the women y'all want to protect. One, y'all got y'all male friends who will say the most rapiest comments. That sounds very rapey to me. And y'all will kiki it and allow it to happen. It's like, dog, that could be your daughter, your niece, your mother, your grandmother. It's just a no to me. Like, protecting black women means protecting all black women. If a nigga saying something that don't sound right, some of y'all might probably have rapists and sexual predators within y'all group, y'all male friendship groups. And I know women can be sexual predators too. I'm all for that. I don't tolerate people touching little kids, messing around with little kids. Find someone your own size, find someone your age. I get it. It's a mental disease, and that's why I feel like it takes a lot of work for someone to even get out of that mindset. That's why I'm like, rapists and child molesters are a big no-no for me. You need to just stay in prison. Sorry.
My thing is...
And I said what I said when I said it. I ain't changing that.
I'm 1 billion% behind you. I want to know what men allow their male friends, to be abusive to their women and still remain friends with them. Because I know of some of y'all. I even know some females who are friends with a man who was super abusive, damn near almost killed his baby mama while she was pregnant. And they're still friends with him. I'm like, do they know? And they just is like, oh, you know.
Some people turn a blind eye. Like, I watched a quick clip of The Grapevine, that podcast, and I saw they played clips, and one of the guys mentioned is like, you know what sucks is, he's like, you don't ever want to, the thing is why a lot of men tend not to speak up is like, you don't want to be that nigga that, like, you know, he's like, you're in a space, everyone's having a good time, and the man, one of your boys keeps saying bitches a lot. He's like, you don't, in your mind, some men be like, I don't want to be that nigga to ruin the mood, to ruin the whole function. Like, yo, we're having a good time, and here you go saying, yo, nigga, chill, you saying bitches a lot, like, chill with that. And I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, this is the reason why this culture of this whole thing of when men and women do harm, sexual harm, the most fucked up things to children or even to women, it's like, oh, we're trying to tear black men down. I get it.
I'm trying to make sure you are the best version of yourself. So if I'm calling out on your bullshit, I expect the same from you in return.
Here's the thing though, with the accountability of heart. I get it. The world is against black people in general. And black men, we get it. The world is on your shoulders and you're dealing with a lot. But at the same time, black men, even though you have been oppressed and you're still being oppressed, you yourself become the oppressor against women, and sometimes maybe children.
Yeah.
So
willingly or unwillingly, consciously or unconsciously,
like you can become the oppressor even though you're being oppressed. So anyone that can have some form of power, you yourself can become an oppressor. And I saw a woman. They had another clip about narcissism, and it's like, you know, straight people can be oppressors towards people who are homosexual, people who are in LGBTQ groups, black men in general, you become oppressors, especially black men, even though you are being oppressed from the white world. We get that.
I'll even give you an example of like not speaking up when you're supposed to. There's not a lot of us where I work. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that I don't like to talk too much about my job because I'm still working there. But there were some racially insensitive things said to me, and I was so in shock. But also, I'm the newbie person. I didn't respond in the way I should have, like holding that person accountable, saying "fuck no, that's not appropriate," and I take accountability for that. After I sat within, I had conversations with people that are in these same spaces where they're the minority. They gave me some pointers on how to address those conversations. Yeah. Because again, like I don't expect these things to happen to me. But when they happen, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't even respond. I was just like, the fuck? And of course, like it started fermenting inside me, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm pissed. Like I don't know what the fuck. And I had conversations with people, and I was like, all right, granted, yes, you're in a professional setting, so there's ways to address these conversations. There's ways to hold people accountable for their words and their actions. So after I had those conversations and after I've like sat with it, I now hold people accountable to this shit. Like, and it's great because my group that I'm working with now, they're so receiving of being taught, right? Like we had this conversation, there was some ignorant comments made. And that's what it was. It was ignorant. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't to be disrespectful. It was just the lack of knowledge on the topic. And then I proceeded to provide that knowledge. And we had a really great conversation. Like, and I'm like, this could be a teaching lesson for all of us, myself included. But when you are in fear of fucking up the mood of the space or thinking that it's not an appropriate time to have these conversations, that's the reason why the conversation keeps happening. That's why they keep talking like that. That's why they keep acting that way, because nobody's holding them accountable when it happens. And you want to do it days later when they can't even fucking remember what the fuck they said.
Yeah, so I agree with you with that. Like the fact that you held yourself accountable. Me, I feel the same way. That a lot of times part of it was the fear of the person lashing out, and me, I don't take confrontation too well because then I lose all my senses.
I don't know how to argue, y'all. I keep telling y'all this.
Like, once you get me to arguing, my hands start doing clapping noises. My face get red. My ears get red. Once these areas get red, leave me alone. Let me cry in peace, because you...
Yeah. Because I'm an adult now and I can't put hands on you, so the next best thing is to like cry it out because I'm like so frustrated. Not because you hurt my feelings or because I'm hurt or whatever. Like, no, it's legitimately like I can't put my hands on you.
I can't do nothing about it. So that's why I'm crying. Yeah. So take that
anger
as a
frustration. Yeah.
So I was gonna say yes. I'm learning now to speak out more and speak up more. But trying to use it in a more calming tone, because I know a lot of times people say it's your tone.
Very conductive, way to do it, right?
Yes, like trying to do better and say like I don't like learning to say no. That's not okay. You need to speak up. Like especially in the West Indian culture, like brushing things under the rug. This is why we end up having full blown adults that can't handle situations because we're protecting the person who offended this person. We need to stop doing that. Stop protecting abusers. Stop protecting child abusers, child molesters. Stop protecting rapists. Stop it. And I get it. It's hard. Like, it's hard when you
already established a relationship with them.
Yeah, right? And I know it's hard, especially
like I will say because you're saying like stop protecting them. If Peggy was to do something morally conflicting to me, right? I'm fucking going in, right? And you're going to receive that, and you're gonna say what you gotta say to me. But I'm hoping, and I know that she's gonna be like, Jessica's only speaking out of care and love and concern, right? But if it's somebody I don't know, I don't know how would you address it without being angry?
Well, the thing is someone, when it's someone you don't know, it's weird. Like, here's the thing, like, if I don't know this person, I probably wouldn't have information on them raping somebody. I'm just saying.
What if that conversation came up, though?
If the conversation came up or the person said a very rapey comment, I'm like, that's not cool. I'll probably just walk away and I'll look at them saying, like, that's not cool. Like, that's not appropriate. And some people, and sometimes narcissists be like, oh, what? It's a joke. No, that's not funny. Like, sometimes you got to set, like, it's hard because I get it. Some people... Right now in this world, in this day and age, a lot of things are easier said than done because a lot of people take it to the max where they feel like now that you check them in front of everybody, now they want to do you harm by, God forbid, killing you out of embarrassment instead of owning up to it. And that's why it's like, I get it why some people may not speak up for certain things because they might get harmed in a way. And I
didn't even think of that.
That's why, point. And I know how some people say, I don't get involved when a man or woman are fighting because that man might end up turning around killing you and she still end up with him anyways. And I get people not involving themselves in domestic abuse situation. What I will say, if you're not going to physically jump in while they're physically fighting, if the man in the pretense or the woman have said certain things like, yeah, you know, I had to knock her around a few times if they're bold enough to say it around you. You can check them in that sense. I get it. You jumping in physically to stop the fight, it might be a whole different range here. I'm not saying that. I get it. I've heard stories of people losing their lives trying to protect a woman, being abused, and she still ends up being with their abuser. I get that. But if the conversation, this is based off of conversation. If the conversation is being in front of you and you know it is fucked up, this is when we have to speak up because then this person is going to continuously do it. And especially if they're in a position of power, and that's the other thing. So I'm steering away from, you know, a lot of things where a woman finally comes out and say this person has sexually assaulted them, sexually abused them and stuff like that. And we say, why did you wait so long? Well, here's the thing. When the thing just happened fresh right then and there and the person does come out, we blame the victim, like, oh, it was her clothes she was wearing, oh, she did this. There are people who are raped who are fully fucking clothed, covered from head to toe.
Oh shit, sorry.
So we need to stop blaming the victim. Blame the fucking rapist. Blame the person who thought it was okay for them to force themselves on someone. Okay? And especially when they're in position, some people, because they're in a position of power, they don't want to get the idea or being blamed of, oh, this person has money. That's why you're trying to accuse them of rape. You're trying to get money out of them. Half the time, more than half the time, a victim is not even asking for money. They want that person to go to jail so they don't do the same thing. That's what y'all fail to realize. So you're stuck in your way that someone's always trying to put a man down. We have to realize there are men and women who are touching people appropriately, but because they have that power, because I'm the boss and I have money, I know I can get away with it. Or I can pay you to shut your mouth up. And if I get tired of being paid for it and I finally come out, it's going to be used against me. Well, weren't you being paid for about 1.5 years to be quiet, And it's like, that can be used and your character can be judged. Your profession as someone who is a sex worker, their job right there can be used against them. Like, oh, you're a sex worker anyway. That's because a person chooses to sell pussy or sell their dick or sell whatever. That doesn't mean for you to take advantage of them. But it does happen.
No, I know. 100%. I get everything you're fucking saying, and that should be honestly a topic.
Oh yes.
But you see how our brain works, though. We were talking about holding people accountable. Now we're talking about sex workers. Now we're talking about.
I'm just saying, you know, when your profession, people trying to like, oh, well, your job, that's your job, so maybe you confused it as rape. No, like no. But that was for October. But like we said, like that will be a whole different topic, and we're gonna put a trigger warning on it when it does happen. But yeah, like holding people accountable for their rapey comments, looking at children, touching children, no. November, which is more recent, just last month, you know, what's that rapper?
Travis Scott. I'm about to say Travis Roy. What?
Me too. Travis Scott with the whole festival thing, the surge that happened.
That is still technically going on.
It's still going on, fresh. I think officially 10 people have passed away, and they said the examiners have said it's from asphyxiation, so their lungs or their airway got crushed. You know, people trying to move and run. Sorry for hitting the mic. So it's a lot. That's still fresh because he's still being sued. His whole production, whoever's involved, is being sued. It's a lot. And I was reading the comments where people were writing, like, because, you know, there are kids as young as 8, and some people was like, well, I wouldn't, some people have their own personal opinion. Like, I wouldn't bring a small child to this type of event. And, you know, people are saying, like, you know, supposedly he encouraged more people to try to come, even though there was no more space. Enticed it more. There's no space to come. It's like, look, everyone's responsible for their own thing. I am not sticking, that's one thing I'm not sticking my mouth in, because people lost their lives. It's unfortunate, it's sad and unfortunate, but that's why as humans, as individuals, we have to really think long and hard before we start purchasing things to go to these big concerts. Me personally, I'm not ready for no concert. And if it's a concert where I cannot sit down, there's no assigned seating, I don't want no parts of it. These concerts, a lot of them that are taking place outside, there's no way to actually sit or stand. You're just crushed and people moving. Some people taking drugs before they go to these concerts. I'm all set.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. November, what else happened?
I don't know.
Did anything happen to me personally in November? Not much. I feel like November flew by.
Yeah.
November just pulled up, said what up, and then left. December is doing the exact same thing.
Exact same thing.
This December, now we're in December.
And we're in sheer panic.
Sheer panic with this Omarion. Well, you know what's so funny though? They didn't put it on the calendar. Was the whole, you know, Omarion doing that dance? Yeah. Yo, that shit had me fucking dying. That was like from October and November. Yeah. And now Omarion's popular because of the whole Omicron variant that's out here. And you know, it's black folks who like to create our own version, so we just call it the Omarion variant. Like, correct me, I don't care. I'm still gonna say it. But yeah, like December pretty much is done. Yeah. We're in the last leg of the week, the last stretch of the month, the 52nd week of the year. It's crazy. This year flew by, ups, downs, and I know a lot of people have lost a lot of loved ones
due to
throughout this whole year, from COVID, from accidents or someone taking their life away, being kidnapped and not being found.
I feel like it's more prevalent now on social media, like people being killed, women specifically. Yeah,
that's gonna be a whole different topic. I'm not even gonna get into that.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be our series.
It makes me emotional just talking about it.
It's gonna be emotional. It's gonna be in regards to protecting Black women in general and how we're perceived in the media and whatnot.
I'm so sick of it.
But yes, December flew by. You know, a lot of people lost a lot of loved ones, and it's hard because, especially when it's around, like losing a family member any time of the year is hard, but losing them around the holiday season, because usually that's when family comes together, it makes it 10 times worse. And we want people to know that, you know, grieve the way you want to grieve. It is okay to not feel great. Some days you'll feel great, you think everything's going well, and then a memory hits you or a smell hits you and it makes you break down like, oh my God, you're never going to get over losing a loved one. People who lost their fathers and mother, you're never going to get over losing a parent.
You're going to just learn how to cope.
Yes, you're just going to have to learn to cope and go on with your life without them. It's going to be hard. But, you know, as people say, life does go on, you're still going to be dealing with the grief of losing that loved one. But as long as you're taking the steps to take care of yourself, that's what matters.
I always try to, like, reflect on, like, I was privileged enough to experience this person, and I get to keep those memories for the rest of my life.
Yes.
That's the upside. Like, that's the only upside I could think of, right? Like, there's many people, there's trillions of people on this earth, and I was able to experience this person and who they were, and I was in their lives, and now I have all these memories that I can keep to myself, that I have as a keepsake, and that I can, like, think back on when I do miss them. Again, loss of life, like death is inevitable. It's
part of the human's life.
It's part of life. So when you think of that, like, of course, I'm not saying it's easy, but what I'm saying is it's inevitable. And so just kind of rely on the idea, like on the thought of, I was able to experience this person was in my life for this time, and I have all these memories that I can fall on when I do have those moments or those days or those weeks or those months where I miss them.
One thing I want to add too is that since we know that, you know, our time on earth is limited, we don't know when we're gonna leave, how we're gonna leave, we don't know, none of us know, but since time is very precious, we should definitely try to spend as much time as we can. And we get it with COVID. Sometimes you are restraining yourself from going to see people, especially if their immune system is compromised. I get all that. But try to spend as much time with your family, your friends, create memories, have good times. Learn to take care of your mental health. Remember, the brain is an organ. So when it's not okay, you need to take care of it and take care of yourself. And we know time flies, so let's not waste our time on things that is stressing us out, and things that we know in the next 5 minutes we're not going to worry about it. Don't stress yourself out. One thing I wanted to add as one of our down points is I didn't want to forget about it, because we did mention Joe Biden need to cancel student debt, because the fact that if we're able to push and defer it for another 90 days and we're doing just fine, and student loans have been deferred for the past year and some change, right? And the economy is just fine. So why not just cancel it out? But I read someone posted it. I haven't posted it yet. They said, think about it. If student loan debt was to be canceled, it helps, it pushes African Americans, like, the wealth gap, it bumps us up by about 40%. For those of us who have student loans. So a lot of times when things are not happening, we know it's because black people are involved. Because honestly, I believe if only white people have student loan debt, that shit probably would have been canceled already a long time ago. I don't care. I said what I said when I said it. Don't argue with me, argue with your mama. I'm gonna keep it there. The other thing I wanted to add to July, and I missed that part, was Haiti dealt with the assassination of their president. You know, Haiti's always getting hit back and forth with a lot of things, so I don't want to hear people say Haiti is cursed. It's not cursed. There's a lot of powers involved that keep Haiti the way it is. Because till this day, a lot of people do not find too much happiness in knowing that the nerve of this country, with the slaves in it that booted out the French to declare freedom from the French, get rid of slavery from there and keep it from there, and then the audacity of the French to come back in 1825 saying, hey, yo, so if you don't pay back this money, we're just going to invade you again. And then America invaded Haiti in 1915, and again, a couple of years after that, ever so often Haiti would, U.S. would intervene for some strange reason. And if y'all don't believe me, do your research. And then, you know, the earthquakes, like Haiti dealt with the earthquake in 2010, still have not reconciled from that. And then we kept getting earthquakes, and there was another one this year. I forgot what month, but there was another one in this year, and there was one just last week, or earlier this week, there was another earthquake. So Haiti's been getting hit back and forth with natural disasters, which we do not have control over. But like the government stuff and how Haiti's been portrayed in the media, that stuff is what the powers that be that have control over that's making Haiti look bad, and Haiti's dealing with the shit that they're dealing with. And, you know, Super Jumu on deck in the next 7 days. You know, if you have any Haitian friends, get with them, pay them some money, because the items to make Super Jumu this year has gone through the roof. It ain't cheap. So at least give your friends.
So I gotta, girl, if you don't bring me that bowl of fucking Super Jumu.
No one's talking about you.
Okay.
But I might change my mind since you assumed it was about you. But I'm saying, like, no,
I
seriously.
threatened her, guys. I told her she can't come over unless she
is this a tradition? I had asked my parents, like, why do we eat it? And supposedly in part because at one point this soup was only the wealthy French people can eat it. The slaves, of course, were cooking it and serving it to their slave masters. So when we won our independence, booted the French out, this is a slap in the face to the French, like, oh, we couldn't eat this because we were slaves. Now we're able to cook it ourselves and eat it, and it's remained a tradition January 1st every year for us to eat it. I mean, you can eat it any time of the year, but it's a tradition to eat it on January 1st. I just wanted to throw that out there because I forgot to mention it. But I mean, we get it. A lot more shit took place in this year. We couldn't get to all of it, and honestly, we don't remember all of it because our brain's still a blur from 2020, to be honest. But as always, we like to close out.
Yesterday.
Girl. As always, we like to close out every episode with a business shout out. So this week's business shout out.
Before we end it, before we do all of that.
Yes.
because this is gonna be the last episode
for 2022.
Before 2022. So I want to know. We did this last night with my family. We sat around the table and we were just talking about things that we wanted to change. What is something? Name something that you are leaving behind in 2021. If you want me to start, I'll start.
Go start.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I said excuses. I carry it like a badge of honor sometimes. I make excuses for a lot of things. So I told myself this year it's about leaving that behind and actually putting in the work for the things that I want. And I told, with the other question was, what is something that you're going to change, or what is something that you want to happen in 2022? And I said discipline. I lack a lot of discipline in areas of my life. There's certain things that I have, like, I'm very disciplined on, but there's things that I feel like if I was more disciplined, I would be in a different mind space, like headspace. So discipline is like key for me in 2022. But for 2021, we're leaving excuses behind because it has done nothing for me. And yeah, so what are you gonna leave in 2021? It could be anything, honestly. It doesn't have to pertain to you. It could just be like the conversations of fucking COVID. Even though that's not gonna be.
Well, COVID ain't going nowhere, so that'll never end. Maybe. I do like lack discipline in certain areas of my life. Like, y'all may see me on social media like, oh, she got it all together. Certain things I will go hard on and get it done. It looks like I did it seamlessly. But I was fighting for my life when I was doing that.
She was doing it at the last hour of the day.
Listen, but I feel like I lack discipline in certain things. Like, one prime example I will say I lack discipline in is like maintaining my health. Like, this past month has been trash. I've been eating a lot of trash foods. Trash, basura, fatra, ten. Like my father said, junk. Like, literally, caca. And I realized when I looked at myself in the mirror, like, my waistline has expanded within this past month. Mind you, even though I would eat a little crappy here and there, I was doing better, that my waistline wasn't as wide. I realized it's gotten wider. And I'm like, wow, I need to do better. So I'm definitely doing the 30-day hard and see as it continues,
how you feel about it.
How I feel about it, I might just jump into the next month doing it.
Are you doing the exact regimen that they're asking?
No, I'm switching up to things that fit me. Yeah. So, like, discipline in, like, eating better and, like, doing a workout regimen, because usually, like, a few years ago I used to do good, and I think part of COVID plays a role in it too, because prior to COVID I had this thing where I would pack my gym bag right after work. I'll go straight to the gym, work out, go home and shower and do whatever I need to do. COVID kind of fucked up my mental state in that some days I'll tell myself, I'm gonna go, and then I psych myself out of it and just go home and be like, I'm tired, I just want to, like, lay down. Even if the TV's on, I'm watching it, but I'm laying down, I'm resting. I need to do better with that aspect. And then I think, in a sense, I'm still working on speaking up, but in a sense, not to sound so defensive, but I guess that's what I've been told. But I feel like I'm passionate about something, so I'm gonna go hard for it. If I feel passionate about something, I'm gonna go hard, and people might take it as me being defensive, and I'm not trying to make it seem as though I'm not wrong if I am wrong in something. But, you know, I'm working on that. I feel like
so for some people, 75-day hard is to get into the best physical health that they can get to. And for me, I just want to get into the best version of myself, period. Mental, emotional, and physical. I will say, and this is kind of TMI, but we're going to share it. I live alone, so I'm constantly in the nude. And I've learned to appreciate my body for what it's done for me over the past 34 years. Granted, it's changed drastically in the past 5 years. I'm not used to this body, and I was very critical of it, but I told myself, fuck that. This body has gotten me through some shit, has protected me, has done so much for me, so I'm going to appreciate what it is, but also provide it its best version that it needs, right? So although I am doing the physical part of 75-day hard, don't get it fucking twisted, I'm very much in love with myself. Very much in love with myself.
Yeah, I still like my body. It's just I want to do better because I am getting older, and, you know, there's health issues when it comes to, especially us as African American women. There's all these things stacked up against us when it comes to our bodies. I just want to do better. in that aspect. I still love my body because, like I say, I tell people like I still get niggas with this body. I am in a happily loving relationship, but if I was super single, that's what I would. That's what I would say. I would say that like, so I get a nigga with this gut. So
yeah,
but I just want to be healthy in that aspect, in a sense, like eat better because you know diabetes, blood pressure runs rampant in my family. I'm trying to
it's running rampant through my family. So I get that part. Yeah, so physical is only for me just to create the best version of myself, right? But again, don't get it twisted, bitch. I love me.
So we're gonna shout out our business for the last business shout out for 2021. This business shout out this week and the last week of 2021 is Capture.
The last shout out. I'm gonna keep cutting you out.
Is Capture _ for 412. I'll spell it out for you guys. It's a photographer. Does pictures for family, any type of event you want, he got you. I believe it's like a family photography business. But they also have a website, www.capture412media.com. All this will be shared in our description box on YouTube and on IG or whatever social media you guys follow. All this information will be shared. Follow them if for any picture needs for any parties, events, or just a photo shoot for yourself or your business. Check them out. And as always, we always end with a quote. Our last quote
for this. I finally, guys, stopped looking at her damn notebook.
I got better writing this time.
2022. I'm gonna make sure that I have my own notes. Anyways, the quote. The quote to end 2021, and it's all of his ratchet ghetto-ness and trauma and drama and whatever else you want to add to that that's fucking ghetto. Celebrate endings for the...
Now you can't blame me.
Because my phone is cracked, guys. I gotta get a new phone. Anyways, okay, I'm at that age where I'm just not upgrading my phone until it dies on me. That's just it, period.
Same here.
Alright, celebrate endings for they precede new beginnings. Celebrate endings for they precede new beginnings.
Yeah, sometimes we feel bad about the endings because maybe it was something good, but maybe it was meant to end to create space for something new. So we're gonna jump into
That's what happened to me in March.
We're gonna use that mindset for 2022. We're gonna celebrate the endings because it creates new beginnings for us. Okay, it may suck at the time. It sounds good and well, but we gotta keep that mindset. So peace to 2021. We'll see y'all in 2022.
Wait, we're not done though. We're gonna cheers.
Oh, okay.
To the ghetto of 2021.
But it's still gonna be ghetto in 2022.
So,
but
I'll say the toast. Okay, so I want to cheers everyone for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, doing all of that,
and being faithful to us.
Yeah, and providing us great feedback, whether I would like to hear them or not, because I'm very sensitive about my shit. I also want to thank Peggy for thinking of me when she wanted to create this space and create this podcast. I would have never done this. I don't know what possessed me to say yes that day, but I did. And Peggy was like, I gotta seize this opportunity and make sure everything is tact. So thank you for that. Thank you for everything that failed. Excuse my fucking cup. For everything that failed in 2021 so that you can make space for 2022.
Period.
As much as I did not want that to happen, it happened, and I am forever grateful. Thank you to my family and friends for being the support system that I've always needed, always had, and will continue to have. And I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that.
Bitch, I was about to say, is this an award ceremony?
No, it's a fucking. I want to reflect on 2021.
I want to thank everybody.
I want to thank you guys for watching.
I thank everyone for watching. As Jessica said, she pretty much said it. Family, friends who supported, who shared, reposted, tagged us. Those who came up to say, yo, I've been listening to your podcast. It's dope. I get it. I use my hands a lot. It's a bad habit. It's a good habit because I teach. This is what I do. I use my hands. Yeah. But thank you guys for watching us. I appreciate it. I'm happy that some of our episodes spoke to you guys, that things that you never thought you could speak of, and we spoke it for you guys. That's hence the meaning of our podcast, Uncomfortable Growth. There's a lot of things that make us uncomfortable, but it helps us grow, right? So appreciate everyone for watching. We hope for 2022 we can get more people to watch, share it, more people to follow us, whether it's on IG, Facebook, our YouTube, Anchor, wherever you listen to podcasts. Hope we can get more people to listen to us. We're not these big.
No, we will get people to listen to us. Now, there's no hope because we're gonna work our ass off in 2022 to make that happen. I mean, fuck what we gotta do. But yeah. Cheers. Oh my God, I don't
clink, 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 clink.
This is a bad idea.
Oh. Sorry, guys. All right.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.